In June, in the United States, a campaign to broaden the interest in the sport of fishing and boating is put on, known as the National Fishing and Boating Week. Some states offer several days of free fishing so that you need not purchase a license in order to fish. Fishing is a huge industry in our country, generating an estimated $45 billion in retail sales and $125 billion to the nation's economy. It is estimated that our country has some 60 million anglers. That's nearly 1 in 5 people in the United States. Fishing has shifted over the years from a utilitarian activity for food and income to a somewhat recreational sport. Most do it for recreation and relaxation. Don't tell the avid fisherman or woman that. It has gone from a vocation, a job, to an avocation, a hobby. Jesus told those who would be his disciples, James, John, Peter, and Andrew, to leave their jobs as fishermen on the Sea of Galilee, and he would make them fishers of men. No longer would they cast their nets upon the water, but Jesus described in one of his parables, it would be as if a dragnet were cast to bring in all men. The disciples would all participate in preaching the gospel to the lost, first in a limited commission, 2 by 2, and then with the Great Commission Jesus left prior to his ascension into heaven. The question is, who are the fishers of men today? Is it just for the ordained, quote-unquote, among us? Or has that order been given to all of us? One preacher alone in a congregation can only do so much. But with everyone working, well, you do the math. And now a few thoughts on covetousness. A well-known comedian once quipped about the fact that you might be identified with a certain American demographic. If you rented a storage shed for $600 to store $100 worth of junk, while he directed his humor towards one group of people, the idea goes much deeper when we consider this in light of our society's obsession with gathering more and more. Now, it is not to be suggested that we become minimalists, those who own but the bare necessities. But in light of considering, do we own our possessions or do they own us, it may be time that we stop and take a long look at our closets, storage sheds, garages, spare bedrooms, and such, and see just what we possess or what possesses us. Paul makes a rather pointed observation in his letter to the Colossians when he states that covetousness, which is idolatry, in Colossians 3:5. It is the same sentiment he uses in his letter to the church at Ephesus. A covetous one who is an idolater, Ephesians 5:5. To covet is to be an idolater. The root of each is the same. To put anything equal to or above God is to make it an idol. Could that 2-car garage that is packed to the rafters be more than just the inability to part with sentimental mementos? Could our insatiable desire to buy just one more collectible to be put on the wall be more than just a hobby? That's a very real question we must each answer for ourselves. The final commandment to Moses was, "Thou shalt not covet," Deuteronomy 5:21 and Exodus 20, verse 17. To covet was to desire what others have to be our own. Jesus warns us against such desires, and he said to them, "Beware, and be on your guard against every form of greed, for not even when one has an abundance does his life consist of his possessions." Luke 12:15. Do our possessions define us? It may be worth looking into. And those are our thoughts for today.